welcome everyone. I'm Kathy Poocher, and I serve as the volunteer chair for Startup San Diego. I've been on the board for over 5 years, and I've been active as the chair, I think, 3 years. And we're really excited to continue the tradition of hosting Startup San Diego all across San Diego and TJ, really reflecting the fabulous startup ecosystem we have across the binational region. So if we can go to the next. So Startup San Diego, who are we, what do we do? Well, first of all, we are a very lean and mean and on it organization that brings together, unifies the startup ecosystem. And we do that through really 2 key programmings. One is we produce Startup Week, and the second is First Mondays. And those are intentional events that curate founders, investors, entrepreneurial curious across the region, and we do it in very strategic geographical regions so that we're inclusive, so that somebody that is an entrepreneur in Chula Vista doesn't have to drive all the time to Carlsbad to participate in our events. We make sure that we move them around so that we can be inclusive of the fabulous, diverse, from a geography perspective, and in so many other ways, ecosystem that we have. So I do want to acknowledge this lean and mean and scrappy organization that we have. So I'd like to acknowledge Lisa Barnhouse, who serves as our executive director, and Erica, who assists with marketing operations and keeping things buttoned up, in addition to Lisa's active role, and then Ella. And many of you who work here at Arxis Nexus know Ella very well. Where is Ella? And that's it. That is it. And how do we keep the lights on? We keep the lights on through sponsorships, which I'll acknowledge in a moment, through ticket sales to our events, and we keep our lights shining bright with your continued support. So thank you very much. Okay, so these are all our sponsors, and seriously, we operate on a very small budget to produce a lot of fabulous content, and without the monetary support of these companies, we could not do it. And really appreciate if there is anyone who's interested in sponsoring or knows of someone that's interested in sponsoring or getting involved deeper in Startup San Diego, please let me or any of the blue shirt ladies know. Okay, thanks. So Startup Week, we kicked off in Carlsbad, and we really focused on sustainability. Was anyone there? Okay, keep your hand up if you were there for Dr. Bronner's. All right, what was your key takeaway? I'm gonna pick on Ping. What was your key takeaway from who knows Dr. Bronner's soap company? Family owned, really unique. What was the key takeaway? Loud.
I think being authentic to your competencies.
Anything else? Stand out? It's about the money. Know what's coming in and know what's going out. Go ahead.
I was going to say something else, but
It's hard to do that.
I was going to say they're very values driven, but I like the money answer.
And he also said you have to price it with margin. Like, don't be silly. Like, you have to make money. Like, don't be silly. These are such simple advice, but it's like, you're right.
He also said, don't be afraid to plan for complexity or ability.
Yes.
Contractors.
Yes. And one more.
If you believe in your brand, don't do everyday low prices.
Yeah. Which was so interesting. That's why I asked the Costco question, because Dr. Bronner's is in Costco, but he had a really, really good answer for that. So did we record that, the Dr. Bronner's, and it will be on our website? And it's already on our website.
That's what we do at night, Kathy.
As you can see, all of us who attended, it was very memorable, and I do encourage you to listen to it. It's a very, very unique story. All right, so, are you rushing me along? Sorry. Is that, yeah. Okay, so then we were at Tuesday. Anyone attend Tuesday? Yeah, so that was a really interesting event where we curated startups with investors, and there was opportunities to hear pitches as well as mix and mingle. And it was in the fabulous newly newly redesigned Mintz. And if anyone knows Mintz law firm, their first design was fabulous. It didn't need to be more fabulous, but somehow they made it more fabulous. So it was quite a joy. And then yesterday, I work at SDSU. I serve as the Executive Director of Entrepreneurship Initiatives. So full disclosure, how many were you at SDSU? All right, so we really celebrated the founder and had a lot of unique opportunities for the founder, but we had some interesting investor content as well. And Leche was a really good non-linear startup story, so hopefully you participated, or if you want to listen. Anyone have a key takeaways from Leche? Anyone? Okay, leave it at that. Let me think what my key takeaway is. Erica? I think just the non-linear, you know what my key takeaway is? I've heard Trish Clifford speak twice about Leche. She has zero knowledge. So what is Leche? Leche is basically taking breast milk that is overproduced by many women and supplying it to women who are underproducing. And doing that by dehydrating, I believe it's dehydrating, flash freezing the breast milk, and she makes it stable on the shelf. And it also allows a woman to do this at home if they want to have a powder that they can take with them. She came from being an exercise-related business, so fitness-related business. She was not in manufacturing. She wasn't an expert on how you would take and make a shelf-stable product after something that is so unstable or can go bad so quickly, and so important that it is there's no problems with the product, given that it's the infant that will be living off of it. So just the fact that she said what she did is she doesn't have to be the expert, she needs to surround herself with the experts, and she does an extraordinary job of doing that. Go.
I didn't catch all of her talk, but I think that customer choice is a challenge of going that into the successful business and also balancing it with baby and family.
Yes. She had her husband there, her third baby boy, who was born 2 weeks ago, and her mom. So very supported by her family. Thank you for that. All right, now we're in Baja. So woo, we're gonna hear some incredible talks, and you'll get an overview of those shortly. And then we'll be at UCSD tomorrow. You can park somewhere and take the trolley, because parking can sometimes be a little bit challenging. And there is an incredible keynote, which includes the founder of GoFundMe and his new startup, Andy Ballister. It includes, oh my God, go ahead. Cloudbed founder. And what?
Flock Freight.
And Flock Freight founder.
3 unicorns. Something like only 8 unicorns in San Diego.
3 unicorns speaking at one time. All right, hope you'll join us there. Is she done? Let's see. And one more slide. First Monday, so we do have one more event in this calendar year. Dane Chapin is a personal friend. He owns many different companies and is this very successful commercial real estate developer. He has a company that he started with his sisters called The Op. They started with the license for Monopoly. So when you see like an offshoot of Monopoly, like SDSU Monopoly or UCLA Monopoly or whatever, or any games where it's under the name of a brand, that is being done through The Op. But he has other games as well. Topple is one of his latest games. Really cool guy, and he's incredible at relationship building. And so we're gonna hear from him, and we're gonna actually do relationship building as well. So that is it. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Lisa, do you want to do this?
Yeah, I have gifts that I don't have them on me.
Anyway, we really appreciate our hosts, and we're going to touch on, thank you for having us. We're going on 7 years together, and we've done, Samantha, did you want to talk about so we had a hack night earlier this year, and we did this same day. It's a lot of people's favorite day. It's one of mine. Thank you. And so you can see we've been collaborating together for a long time, and what we're trying to do is literally and figuratively show you how easy it is cross the border and work together and build new things. And it isn't just a theme, it really is innovated locally, impacting globally, and we're happy to partner with you. Thank you, Marco.
All right. Thank you all. We're very happy to have you all here instead of the other floor that was still under construction. It's completed now, but you can now kind of enjoy our new site. So when Lisa and Sam approached me a week ago and said, hey, we'd like you to do the open remarks and get people fired up, I'm like, shit, what am I supposed to do to get people fired up? So my nerd side thought about, what about some numbers? And then my realistic side said, what the hell are you thinking? So what I want to do is I want to give you a brief intro and hopefully raise some awareness about Cali Baja. I don't know if you know this or not, but we live in a very unique place in the world where a lot of stuff is going on. So I'm going to just ask you some questions. If anybody wants to give an answer, they can raise your hand. But before doing that, I just want you to know that I want to raise awareness about the interconnection between San Diego and Baja as a mega region that indeed is divided by a physical border, I guess, but on the flip side, it also enriches our diversity. So amid a politically controversial climate, I would say, we, on the other hand, as innovators and as volunteers for Startup San Diego, we're just rolling up our sleeves and getting work done. We're head down and we're doing stuff that you may or may not hear about on the news, but stuff is happening that ultimately ends up impacting our communities. So, I want to ask you a few questions. If anybody wants to raise their hand and answer, please do so. The fun side is I have treats. So, all right. So who can guess how long is the U.S.-Mexico border? Take a guess. Anybody? Come on, it's free candy.
We're gonna up the ante. We have
Oh.
an extra custom limited edition embroidered hat that says San Diego, California / Baja, California.
If you, excuse me? It's actually 1900, excuse me, but I'll give you a free candy for that. Here, early trick or treat, pick one. All right, so 1900 miles, almost 2,000, but that's close enough. I'll round it up. All right, cool. Who wants to guess what the combined GDP for the San Diego, Cali Baja region is? And I'll take an approximate number, like 400 is roundable. Anybody take a guess? Combined GDP, San Diego and Baja. Come on, how much is this region worth? Anybody? Take a guess, it's fine. Worst can happen, you don't take candy home with you. Yeah.
60 billion?
No, not that close, but I'll give you some candy. Second guess, yes sir. Huh? Close enough, 250. So it's the combined GDP for our region is $250 billion. Now, in comparison, Vermont's is 45 billion. The entire state of Vermont GDP is 45. Wyoming, South Dakota, and North Dakota, we all beat them combined. So what does that mean? It means shit's happening. There's stuff going on in a region that is not happening anywhere else in the country. And hopefully, by today, when you go home, you can reflect on how you can put some of whatever it is that you're working on, leverage that as well. So a couple more questions. How many vehicles entered the U.S. via the San Ysidro port of entry that you all just came through? Give an approximate number. What's the best guess? Well, you can get free candy anyways. Annually. So annually, approximately how many cars cross that border in a year? 10 million is close enough. You get free candy. It's actually 15.8 million. 15.8 million cars cross the border in the year 2023. Now I'm going to give an extra because you all actually walked across. So how many pedestrians crossed the border in 23? Take a wild guess.
2023.
Yes, you get free candy anyways, Lisa. Take a guess. Just in a year, average. No, come on. What's that? It's actually 6.8 million. So 6.8 million people crossed that border by foot in 2023. So just for full awareness, if you, what's that? Cool. So I don't know if anybody else is aware of this, but there's a new port of entry being constructed. It's a binational effort between the Mexico federal government and the U.S. federal government. It's called OTI East, and it's meant to alleviate border crossing, but also enable a lot more import and export activity going on. Can anybody guess the dollar amount investment that that complex is roughly taking between the two countries? Excuse me? You're right, 1.6 billion. This, I swear this was not rehearsed. Kathy is indeed part of the staff, but we did not rehearse it. So.
Kathy already has a hat,
So anyways, I mean, I just thought I'd give out some fun quotes and some fun numbers for you all to hopefully take away everything that's going on south of the border that you may or may not hear about, right? So there's one key takeaway that I would like for you to take home with you is opportunity, right? Just alone in Arcus Nexus, this is our offices, and we're very happy to host you. I mean, just alone in the 22-year history of the company, we've actually enabled 14 acquisitions of U.S. companies. One of them was valued in $1 billion. One of those unicorns that Lisa was mentioning is actually partnered with us. So we're very intertwined with the San Diego, SoCal tech ecosystem, and we're very proud to be so. So we want to be able to continue forming these communities and strengthening our alliances. So again, we're very appreciative of you all being here. I hope you enjoy your stay, and I hear there's some good food coming later. So very, very welcoming to you all. Anytime you want to hang out, feel free to stop by. And thank you again to Startup San Diego for being our valuable partners.
Thank you.
Okay. We want to take the time to appreciate our day for sponsors, so let's do a round of applause for each sponsor, okay? First of all, Cervecería Insurgentes, it's a local brewery here, maybe more than 10 years here in TJ. They're gonna offer a lot of beer at 4:40 p.m. on the after party, so a round of applause, please. Then, Ramuri, it's another brewery here in TJ. They usually give us a lot of beer. And we'll have their beer too at the after party, so a round of applause please. They are offering a barrel. Manzanita Law. So Manzanita Law is a law firm based in San Diego. The Minta Thacker is the one that is on Manzanita Law. Please visit manzanitalaw.com and you'll get a 30-minute free consultation. So a round of applause to Manzanita Law, please. And Labra. So I want to welcome Tom, who is a part of Labra. They also are a sponsor, so he can talk about it in 2 minutes. A round of applause to Labra, please.
Stairs, yeah. Tyra, do you mind getting a photo so I can send it to my boss? So prove that I'm here. Thank you very much. I'm so proud to be supporting Startup San Diego, and especially Arcus and the Arcus team. I think like a lot of us, I got introduced to Arcus through CTO Talks, which is really incredible. If you're not a member and don't go to the content, please do. There's events on San Diego and in Orange County. So very excited to support this. I'd be happy to talk about what my company does after this. But I think if there's one takeaway, I'd like to just have you think about as you're a startup or startup adjacent or as you're advising startups, to look at the different cloud marketplaces to be able to list the software that you're selling to other businesses. Because some things that people don't know about this, or may not know, is that there's, it's a great way to get, right away, you can get some credibility to your investors and to your customers that you are working with a company like Amazon, you are listed. It also lets you skip the procurement cycles and the legal review, because chances are your customers are already a customer of Amazon or Microsoft or both. And so you'd just be an additional line item on that, so you can already just skip a vendor review, which could be timely or costly or frustrating for you as a business. And finally, then you can also tap into some committed spend amounts that these companies, they commit to Microsoft or Amazon that they're going to spend, maybe $100 million a year on their service. And they're allowed to spend maybe 25% of that as on your services. So you can tap into budget that's already been approved and be able to get more of your software or your services sold. So happy to talk more about what we do and helping you actually be able to do that successfully. But just as a takeaway, please do explore it. It's a great way to legitimize your business and tap into budget that hasn't already been allocated. So thank you.
Finally, Bugs Punctual. So they sponsor the rides, the shuttles from San Isidro border to here at our headquarters. So a round of applause, please, to them. If you're interested in their services, they are on that booth. Can you raise your hand? So feel free to ask for any kind of shuttles. Also to Valle de Guadalupe, which is a winery region here. And thank you. Quick overview about the agenda. So we're going to start with our session 1, Building Baja's Next Generation of AI Talent. There's going to be a 45-minute break. Feel free to take any refreshments, water, coffee. Then we're going to start 2:30 for the session 2, Pouring Growth, the technology behind Baja Booming's beverage. It's going to be a 10-minute break, and we'll end up with a workshop, Weekend MVPs with AI. 4:40 p.m. we'll see you at the first floor. There will be an after party, tacos, and a photo booth. Thank you. Shuttle rounds. There will be 3 shuttle rounds from the ARCIS headquarters to the San Isidro border, 5:30, 6 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. And also we're going to have an after party, a 5-minute shuttle to Cerveceria Ramori, sponsored also. Well, just a shuttle. And that's the whole agenda. Next, there's no break. And I just want to welcome the panel, Building Back the Next Generation of AI Talent. We're going to have Carlos Almonte, which is a software engineer at Google, Natalie Medina, which is the chair of the Electronic Cybernetics Engineering Program at CETIS, Mauricio Sanchez, coordinator of software engineering programs at UABC, and Paulina Bermudez, general director at Geeks Academy. So please give them a round of applause.
About technology and innovation. I am the director of Geeks Academy. I don't know if you have heard about Geeks Academy. We develop different kinds of programs and STEM programs. STEM for as the science, technology, engineering, art, and maths. So personally, I am so glad sharing the panel. I am moderating this panel today to you guys. And at Geeks, we are, as I was saying, developing new programs with kids, institutions like CETIS Universidad. So for me, it's today's conversation is very special because what we do at Geeks is directly linked to this panel, and it's how education connects innovation and prepares talent for the future of Baja California and beyond. We're lucky to have this amazing group of panelists here today. Let me introduce them. So we have Carlos Almonte, originally from Tijuana, Baja California. Carlos is a computer science graduate from CETIS University. He has a professional experience in software development, having worked at the major tech companies such as Microsoft and Google. Beyond his career in technology, Carlos is an advocate for accessibility and inclusion, contributing to initiatives that help the blind and visually impaired community use technology for learning and personal growth. And he's also accomplished in sports and international competitor in martial arts, including judo and jiu-jitsu. Then we have, let's give it applause to. Then we have Dr. Mauricio Sanchez. Dr. Sanchez holds a degree in computer engineering as well as a master and PhD in computer science from the Autonomous University of Baja California, UABC, or UABC here in Tijuana. With over 16 years of teaching experience, he is currently a full-time professor and researcher at UABC. Here, where he also coordinates the programs in computer engineering and software and emerging technologies. His research focuses on data science and artificial intelligence, and he has supervised more than 15 theses and published over 40 academic works. Dr. Sanchez has been a member of Mexico's National System of Research since 2016. Welcome. And last but not least, we have Natalie Medina. She's a member at SDSW University, where she contributes to programs focused on innovation, education, and talent development. With a strong commitment to preparing students for fast-changing world, she promotes active learning, creativity, and collaboration within the classroom. Her work reflects SDSW University missions to connect education and real-world impact to empower future professionals in Baja California. Welcome, Natalie. So let's start with the panel. It's going to be different kinds of blocks, and the first one is education and current needs. Let me tell you a little bit about the context. Education is the foundation for innovation, but we all know that the world is moving faster than ever. And new technologies like AI, and you can name it. Universities have the tough job of keeping their programs up to date while preparing students for jobs that don't even exist yet. So my first question is, how do universities identify that needs to go into their curricula to really prepare students for emerging technologies? And this question is for you, Natalie.
Oh, okay, thank you. And thank you for the invite. Well, actually at SDSW University, we do collaborate with the industry. For instance, we do have we consult our advisory board, which is a group of experts, let's say external experts, industry leaders, and so on, and alumni for each academic program. So all of this is because we want to be sure that all our academic programs are aligned to the real workforce demands. So this is how we do it, and also we monitor labor market data and so on, but this is how we do it. We consult with external experts.
I love that. And from Geeks Academy, we also noticed how fast programs need to adapt. Recently, we had to redesign our robotics curricula in less than a year because, AI. So it really shows how the pace of change is accelerating. And related to that, the second question will be, how much real conversation is happening between universities and industry? Are we close to being aligned, or we do still have a gap? To you, Dr. Mauricio.
We do basically the same things Sentis does. We also work very closely with, mainly with the principal employers for our alumni here in Tijuana and Baja California. But we also base our academic program in the IEEE and ACM standards for curriculum. So that's how we keep updated our curriculum.
Perfect. I think that's a great point. And let's go to the next block, which is the role of educators. Of course, students need to be ready for the future, but so do teachers. Educators are the ones bringing innovation into classrooms, and if they don't grow, the students won't either. So, how important is continuous training and upskilling for educators, Natalie?
Oh, that's a great question because I believe that most of universities, your local universities, this issue is very important to us. So, why is an issue? Because as educators, we always need to be up to date. You know? So we're just trying to keep learning and so on. So at SDSW University, of course, we do invest in teaching skills. Let's say, for instance, we do have this topic which is AI. So emerging technologies is very important to us, to our educators, increasing the talent of their teaching skills and these stuff. So we believe that it's very important to us to invest in education. So as educators, we do need to reach this topic. So that's very important to us.
Can you tell us one initiative from SDSW University?
Yeah, to collaborate with many industries. For instance, as I mentioned before, we do collaborate with some specific. For instance, last semester we do collaborate with industry with the semiconductor industry. So it was very important to us because we try to see that how technology will support education. So these type of companies will help us to growing up these type of talent and skills that we need to reach as educators. So yeah, this is how we do it at SDSW University. So collaborating with other institutions as well. So many companies are there and other universities as well. We collaborate with each other for increasing talent in the region.
Perfect. Dr. Mauricio, can you tell us a little bit more of AI programs in UABC or UABC?
At UABC, we have two main roles. One is for professors and one for students. For professors, we have a continuous program for updating our knowledge. We have around, I would dare to say, 20, 30 different workshops a year. Different natures, so we can better use artificial intelligence for two things: to teach better and to teach AI. For students, we have about 10 workshops for students, how to better use it, so, to implement it, and as well to better study. In fact, in the academic programs I coordinate. In fact, I teach artificial intelligence, data science. We have about 8 different units that teach how to use artificial intelligence and how to develop it. So UABC is very invested in it.
Perfect. And it's going to be the next block, which is theory versus practice. We often hear that students graduate with lots of theory but not enough practice. And when it comes to innovation and emerging tech, I think practice is very important. So the question is, how can we make sure theory actually translates into real innovation projects, AI applications, and useful technologies? That question is to you, Dr. Mauricio.
Our philosophy in my academic programs is to teach the fundamentals so they can adapt to anything in the workplace. So we do have a lot of effort to. Here's a quick example. We don't teach Java. We don't teach Python. We teach the paradigm. Object-oriented programming. We focus on the paradigm or structured programming. Then we have just little small workshops so they can learn the language, but they can quickly adapt to anything. So all the academic program is based on that philosophy. We teach the fundamentals so they can adapt to any new emerging technology.
Awesome. Same question to you.
Yeah, the same probably, yeah. Our students solve real problems from the industry and so on. maybe through custom projects, I can say that, because our curricula consists of so many courses that are related to how to apply the theory to the practical world. So, for instance, I can say so many examples on this, as Dr. my colleague said. When a company has a real problem and a student can solve it, and a student can help by solving this problem, this is how we collaborate with these companies. So, as an example, I can remember that a company asked for students that, hey, I have a problem with some quality stuff. Let's say that they want to check on some specific pieces, and they're gonna say that, oh, I want to say how much defects I found on these production lines. So our students, what they do is solving their real problems by using computer vision and AI to identify some patterns that will be like, oh, the specific pattern that they are going to identify. So this is how we do it in SETIS University as well. So we collaborate because we know that the knowledge that we create with our students, they need to apply it into real problems. So through capstone projects, that will be probably one of the collaborations that we do in SETIS.
Yeah, I think collaboration is the key. So let's go to the next block, which is inclusion and diversity. Innovation also means making sure everyone has a seat at the table. Education is not just about the brightest students, it's about opening up opportunities to all kinds of talent. So the next question is going to be to Carlos. Can you tell us about your experience in SETIS Universidad as a student and then going to a global company working, but from your background?
Yeah, from the start at SETIS, I did get plenty of support in many ways, starting from teachers, principals, and also from students as well. Thankfully, because I chose and enjoyed that computer science, most of the things that I had to go through was digitally, going through books or video lectures and things like that. But also being engineering, there's no going around the stuff like math or calculus and things like that. So I had support with having dedicated class time outside of the regular schedule. So I got a lot of support from pretty much anyone I reach out to while being a student. And my first 2 years in work experience was here in Tijuana. I started to work in Thermo Fisher. So being an American company, that also meant commitment from their side to remove any impediments that I could face, and support from also co-workers and managers. Let alone when I made the jump to Microsoft and then Google, they take the inclusion very seriously. But also there's an infrastructure aspect that has to be there in order for inclusion to actually occur. Not just the intentions from the people, but if there's not a proper working area, building, sidewalks, etc., there's only so much you can get for inclusion. So those companies take it pretty seriously.
Awesome. Can you tell us about some initiatives from SETIS University? Because Carlos was a student and you were the teacher.
I remember Carlos. Oh, Carlos. I was so excited to be here because when I saw the pictures, I was like, oh, Carlos is going to be there. And I want to say hi for them. Yeah, having Carlos in my class, I remember the class that I taught, it was computer control. Yeah, like something like that. So,
Physics too.
Yeah, and physics as well. Yeah, that's right. and having Carlos in my class has been, I believe that has been the most meaningful experience of my life, probably, because it reminded me that education is for everyone. So me as an educator, I remember the PowerPoint presentations that I showed to my students. I believe that I sent you, let's say, a few moments ago before it starts, before the class started, and as an educator, I just need to adapt our material for the special, unique needs and abilities for every learner. So as educators, I believe that we must adapt our teaching methods so everyone can study, and as Carlos mentioned before, engineering as well is for everyone. So yeah, that's how we do it.
I think Carlos' story shows perfectly that innovation doesn't come from one type of student or one type of background. It comes from diversity, and that's something that we do in Baja California, a multicultural, inclusive environment that mirrors the real world. And let's go to the block number 5, new generations and soft skills. The pandemic changed students in so many ways. Universities are not just teaching knowledge anymore, they're helping students reconnect socially, emotionally, and professionally. So the next question is going to be to you, Dr. Mauricio. What challenges are you seeing with post-pandemic students? Things like social isolation, emotional needs, or new expectations?
Yeah, well, for starters, we classify our students, not officially, as pre-pandemic and post-pandemic students. The post-pandemic students, they did change, they are more isolated. We're currently working with it. UABC has constant campaigns to get them out of their shells, but the emotional factor for our type of students, the computer engineering, computer software, they don't tend to be too social by nature. So it's a constant work with us, for us to work with them to get them out of their shell. But once they start doing their internships or get out and work, they start to normalize a bit. But during the normal semesters, for us teachers, there is a change, and it's a bit harder, but we also as teachers are getting constant updates from UABC, so they can teach us how to work with them better, because they did change a lot.
Can you tell us about your story at Teddy's?
Yeah, I remember in the pandemic, let's say, stage, we were like in Zoom and Google and so on. So fun fact that I can remember the faces of my students because all I saw is just black boxes in my screen, and it was like, oh, okay. So we came back, when we came back to our university presential, it was like the students, because me as this educator, I turn on my camera so my students can see me. So when we came back to the university, students say, "Hi, teacher, do you remember me?" And it was like, "Yeah, yes." But who are you? Oh, it's Anita or something like that. And it was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize you because all I can see is just all I saw was just like black buses." So this is a fun fact that I remember from post-pandemic when we started to know my students now, and it was like very important for us because our students, they were working very hard during the pandemic, and then when they came back to the university, we did a lot of effort to through mentorship programs and awareness and wellness activities and so on, so our students can reach, let's say, their goals and, for academic purposes. So I remember that was a stage that we do have a lot of effort, and in SDSW University, I remember we changed our educational model and we called it Flex 360. So 360 means that, oh yeah, we changed the whole educational purposes now because post-pandemic stage, it was like critical to us that how do we teach now regarding this topic. So it was very important for us to reorganize our teaching methods right now. So yeah, that's something that I can remember on that.
Awesome. And the second question will be, what challenges are you seeing with post-pandemic students? I'm sorry, it's the same questions. The second one will be, how do universities encourage entrepreneurship, business creation, and professional network? That question is to you, Dr. Mauricio.
UABC has constant campaigns. For example, there's like Shark Tank, but Sima Tank. It's 2 times a year. There's a constant program for entrepreneurship in all the campuses. There's about 5 campuses in the state, and they're extremely active. They have activities about once a week in all the different campuses.
Awesome. I think that's kinds of programs are very important because the next generation is not looking for jobs, I think. They're looking to create jobs. And Baja California is a perfect place to foster that because we're so close to California's innovation ecosystem. So let's go to that block, which is global perspective and binational links. We live in a globalized world, and Baja California is a unique spot right next to the US, full of binational opportunities like this. Companies are looking for talent that can adapt and connect across the border. And the question is, what skills does a professional need today to stay relevant and maintain a global mindset? And that question is to you, Carlos.
It's hard to say what specific list of skills they need depending on which field and which role are you going for. But in the tech or software, to be more specific, for sure, being knowledgeable about the theory part in computer science and being very strong in 1 or 2 programming languages, of the most popular ones perhaps, but also having the skills to learn, not necessarily being a fast learner, but being smart at it. Because if there's something that I learned, it's not just important to work hard, but to work smart, to arrange your times properly and to be good to work as a team. So soft skills would definitely be there in a generic profile, not just software. Being a good communicator and not necessarily being good in standing in front of a crowd or making presentations or things like that, but for example in software you have to go all the time through technical documentation, maintenance documentation, and a lot of things that are documented in different formats, documents, videos, depending on what we're talking about, but yeah, for sure, communication skills will be there as well.
Perfect. And it's going to be the next question to St. Carlos. From your personal experience, how did you build bridges to secure a position in a global company? Can you tell us about your personal experience?
So in my case, I started to work, the outside work while being a student. And that was thanks to having teachers that work, that have our own small businesses or have worked for companies both in the US or here. And they share their experiences and tell you what they think you should be focusing on and learning. Because as a student, you start to having a mindset that you should be an expert on a certain thing. That turns out to be, not really the case. Then after being done with school, I started to work here in Tijuana. Then I got obsessed with working for a big tech company, and I started to look for opportunities there in the U.S. Getting there was very hard. Having a disability doesn't mean that I had a better chance to get it, which is fair. But it took me, plenty of work and many attempts to get there. So yeah, it was quite. Any other person that you may know that had or works for these companies would tell you how this process works, and it's no too much different from getting in a company like here, like Arcus or any other here in the area. There's always a technical, screening or interviews and things like that. There's specific key aspects that the team is looking for when they are recruiting someone. So the same thing there, but harder.
And why do you think, Carlos, U.S. companies are so interested in hiring talent from Tijuana and Baja California?
Because of course there's talent everywhere, and more specifically, the proximity with Baja California and a lot of companies that are in, not just in Silicon Valley, but anywhere in California. They know that there's great talent here, or talent that comes from the mid or south areas of our country, or even further, like in Latin America. They know that there's a great, resource here. So for sure they have their eyes in the talent that we have here, and platforms like LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever, and especially in the software field. Even if you're a student, you're able to collaborate in perhaps in pushing code to a repository or a project that is actually out there being used for something. Money aside, if who's making money out of it, that's a different subject, but as a student or as an entry-level person, you can get legit experience remotely. And now when they want to bring you in, like on-site, being here in this area makes it easier.
Perfect. Same question to you. The question is, why do you think U.S. companies are so interested in hiring talent from Tijuana and Baja California?
Yes, and a great question. As mentioned, as Carlos mentioned it, talent is everywhere, probably worldwide. And I know that as the company success is when a company knows that talent is everywhere. So here in Baja, the universities that are located here in Tijuana, for instance, they know that our students need to grow up in a professional way. And one thing that we do, let's say, CETIS and many other institutions as well, we promote these collaborations between, let's say, the industry and the academia, but also the cross-border collaborations. So we consider here in Baja, we know that this is the region that we call Cali Baja, and this is an important region to our community because, let's say, it increasing, let's say,
there's a lot of economic growth and so on. So this is special for us because if we do collaborate across the borders, it will be very important to our region and economically say that between both sides of the border. So they're reaching out our universities because they know that we do collaborate. So if we don't do that, probably companies will not be interested in us because collaboration is way too important for us. So probably it's that the reason behind this. And as Carlos mentioned before, talent, and we do have local talent. We do have researchers here in Baja, and in the research, let's say for instance, me as an educator and as a researcher, I do collaborations with many other people around the world. So this is how we do it, and this is how we create a network to increase talent and to increase knowledge. And this is because, well, this is the reason why probably the companies are looking at local talent in Baja. So, and we're very cool. So yeah, the Cali Baja region is probably one of the biggest, let's say, in Mexico, one of the biggest, let's say, the specific areas that are very important for Mexico. So yeah.
Thank you. Same questions to you, Mauricio.
I would have to say, I will summarize in two things. First, high quality academic programs, SDSW. There's there's about 3 main universities here in Tijuana, SDSW being the main. But I dare say that another factor is cultural. Tijuana is very isolated from the rest of Mexico. The nearest municipalities is about 20 kilometers, the Baja's region. But if you go beyond, it's about 1,000 kilometers far, about, let's say, 600 miles. It's very far. San Diego is here next to us. In fact, when I was born here in Tijuana. When I was growing up, the reason I learned English is because TV and radio, there were no Mexican stations. Everything was from San Diego. So to me, it's more natural, the culture from San Diego in the United States than the rest of Mexico. Mexico came to me when I was about 10 years old. I was born in '84. So I would have to say that the cultural part is that the United States is our neighbor. Weekends, I just go to pass the day in San Diego. That's a normal thing for if you are from Tijuana. So I would say that's a part that we adapt really fast to the work ethics in the United States, because like I said, it's a very special cultural thing we have here in Tijuana because of our geography.
Awesome. We're getting to the closing. We talk about so many angles: education, innovation, inclusion, global connections. And the final question will be, if you could share one short takeaway for students preparing for the future in innovation, what will it be? Let's start with you.
Okay, well, to our students and our future professionals, keep being curious. that's the #1 rule for innovation. So innovation starts with being curious. So if you have an idea, think about that your ideas will have the power of changing the world in a better way. So this is a #1 rule that I take of myself, and I was like, and I always tell my students that yes, you need to keep learning, you need to keep reaching out, and you need to keep practicing just to solve the real world problems that we do have. We have a lot of issues, let's say, I don't know, maybe pollution and water issues and so on. So how technology will support this? In the morning I was reading an article on LinkedIn, and I was like, oh no, it wasn't an article. It was a question from the World Economic Forum, and it was like, oh, what do you think about how technology will reduce the gas emissions and so on? And there were like several options, and one of them was greener cloud systems. So, and I saw a comment and a guy saying that, oh, good luck with that. Good luck with that. No? So greener cloud systems, it was like, wow, that will be the future. No? So just being curious, because the world will need you, and our universities is that something that we're trying to do. We're trying to do our best so our students can be the future professionals to help saving the world. No? So yeah, probably that will be like the number one rule.
Perfect. Mauricio, same question.
Let me think about it. I only have one recommendation. In fact, is one I usually do give my students, is love what you do. When you love what you do, it doesn't matter the adversity, the difficulty, or anything. You will try hard because you love it. If you have just an incremental betterment or improvement, that gives you a lot of satisfaction. You learn a lot on the way, but you only can achieve that if you really love what you do. Be a nerd at it. I give myself an example. I love technology. I love working with computers, AI, software, everything. And I volunteer. I usually volunteer myself to work with a lot of instances, public or private, for free, in fact, because I love what I do. So that's my motivation is the motivation I try to teach my students, that if you love what you do, everything's easy, and eventually everything will come in place for you, so you can get life satisfaction.
Perfect. And Carlos, can you tell us about your experience, to go to US for opportunities, work? Can you tell to the public? I think we have CEOs, entrepreneurs, and so on. Why is for us as Mexican or Tijuanenses an option going to working in global companies in US?
Why is it an option? Or
Yeah.
what do you mean?
It's if you can tell us about your experience, how can we pursue to go to US and to work at these kinds of global companies?
Well, I would say first having openness about working with a mixture of different cultures. I have colleagues that are very rooted in the Mexican culture here. It has its pros and cons, but going out there in bigger, not just the US, but Europe too, but these type of companies that manage a lot of employees in different fields, and they have a lot of really big and important projects that make a lot of revenue that are used from other developers themselves, and they are used as tools, is a big responsibility. So yeah, willingness to not necessarily change your mindset, but adapt different things, or expect to get uncomfortable in some areas of your life, perhaps. But my advice will be that at least give it a try, but have a plan in your head, not just throwing something expecting for things to occur. But yeah, it's interesting to work for these big and important companies. But yeah.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Dr. Mauricio, and thank you, Natalie, for sharing today about your experiences in education. As you saw, I think today we'll be seeing the innovation is not just about technology, it's about people, it's collaboration, and education working together. And thank you, everyone, entrepreneurs, CEOs. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you have any question to ask to our panelists?
Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your answers. I'm an educator myself in the U.S. and living here in Tijuana for the last 8 years. I'm so excited that all of you are here. One of my questions regarding because we're so close to the border, Tijuana and San Diego is almost synonymous, right? My question is, as we become more and more global with technology and people and learning experiences, outside of Tijuana, like in your universities, are you collaborating with other than U.S.? Because I think that's just it's just a natural occurrence. And if so, some of those challenges, experiences with culture and even travel and understanding language, how have you overcome that?
Okay, well, a great question. Thank you for that. In City University, our dean of school is committed to international experiences for every single student. So in our university, we do have a lot of programs to, let's say, starting from student abroad and so on. So we do have like several courses, let's say, via online and eventually in courses in other countries. So I remember, I can tell you a story behind this. One right from our major. He was a student abroad in France, and he loved that country. So now he completed his PhD on radio frequency, and so all of this stuff. And I remember when he came back to Mexico, because he has this type of scholarship that when we return back to Mexico, he will help us to increase the talent and the local talent. So I remember his words and say that, the university gave me the opportunity to know what's outside my country. So it gave me a lot of opportunities. So this is, and these words that I remember from him is that what we, let's say, it's very emotional for us, because we know that giving these opportunities to our students and knowing that across, let's say, not only the U.S., we say a lot of stuff with the U.S. because they're the neighbors, like my colleagues say, but we also collaborate with other institutions as well. So it's very important to us to give these opportunities to our students. So yeah, those words remind me that education is everywhere, as I mentioned before, and increasing talent with cultural, I don't know, it's just being wonderful with that.
And UABC? Well, first of all, since San Diego is very close to us, most of the main focus for collaborations are the local universities in San Diego, but our dean has been very active going to other states, but that's because of our closeness. But we also have with other continents for both us, for students and teachers and researchers. And the other question you asked is how do we communicate with everything, the communication part, mostly in English. We have a lot of collaborators in China and through English, but mostly, actually it's mostly in English. It's a universal language for us to communicate with other countries, actually.
Another question?
Who has another question?
I think this is mainly for Carlos, but anyone can chime in about you're in an ever-changing sure you already have enough on your plate every day from, your day-to-day tasks. How do you continue your education, and do companies that you work for, like Google and Microsoft, provide that time, or is that things that you have to find a way to do outside of your normal daily tasks?
Yes, they are, both companies are very supportive to giving continuity to your, if you want to learn something new, even if you want to, go for pursue like a different degree beyond your, whatever is in your background, if it's a bachelor's or a master's, whatever, they provide with financial support, or if internally you want to, master something like a tool or something. They also have like workshops and plenty of resources to study, practice, and side projects too. So yes, for sure they provide that. It's a matter of individually arranging your time. Most of the teams are pretty flexible with their schedule. If you decide to work on evening or on being a night owl, as they say, or you can make whatever arrangement you need to. It's just a matter of discussing with your team and manager, and yeah, for sure, these companies are really flexible about it.